Well, hey, 2nd District, State Representative Andrew Barkis coming to you here amongst the beautiful cherry trees that are just about to go into full blossom here this April 1st, 2019 on the Capitol grounds. You know, it's a sure sign that we're getting closer to the end of our session when the cherry trees blossom here on the Capitol campus. It was only a short month or so ago that we were buried in snow here, so it's unbelievable how fast time has flown by. The other sign of the cherry trees blossoming means that we just got done with running the budgets, the first 2 of 3 budgets for the 2019 session. We ran the transportation budget and also the operating budget on Friday. Both passed off the floor of the House and now head to the other chamber, and the process continues. So it was my first time as ranking member of the Transportation Committee to put out a budget, and working alongside the chairman, Representative Fye, we believe that we put out a very good House version of the transportation budget. It's about a $10 billion budget that gets at our infrastructure, our maintenance needs, and so many other things that we have here in the very complex transportation world of Washington State. We worked within the revenues that we have. We worked within the confines and put some good stewardship with the taxpayers' dollars and prioritization to make sure that we can take care of the issues facing our state throughout the entire state with regards to transportation. The other budget we worked on was our operating budget. This one, well, it was a little more controversial. The reason being is that we saw an increase almost 19% in spending, almost $54 billion, that's with a B, $54 billion on this particular version of the budget. And it's very concerning for myself and my colleagues and for most of the people in the state of Washington that I'm hearing from. Tax increases proposed, spending pretty much every bit of the surplus revenue that we've had come in to deal with multiple things. And of course, we heard from the other side that we must think about taking care of every person in the state of Washington, and it's a great budget. But I got to tell you, what we should be thinking about is prioritization, not just overspending. We are doing our primary duty, taking care of our education system. We've got a lot of money invested in mental health and other things in the operating budget, but there are so many other areas where we're just seeing increased spending and growth within state government, and it is not sustainable. We're looking at a possible downturn in our economy. God forbid that we get there, but it's something that we have to be thinking about, so we should be saving these dollars and thinking about the things that are to come, not spending every single penny. The process isn't done. We offered about 38 amendments to try to get at some of those core issues in prioritization, and the process isn't done. It has to go to the Senate, and we'll be working here over the next 27 days to reconcile and hopefully come up with a better version than what we saw on Friday. Speaking of budget amendments, I will tell you one that I did offer, and I'm happy to see it was accepted. And it has to do with a major issue that we're dealing with here in the state of Washington, and that is our heroin epidemic that we see. We watched a great news report here a couple weeks ago called Seattle is Dying, and I want to commend Eric Johnson with Como 4 News for the work that he did on that, drawing into the light the issues that we're dealing surrounding the homelessness issue, but primarily the main causes, the root causes I've talked about so many times, and that is this drug epidemic that we see on our streets. I was inspired when I saw that because it touches me very, very personally, as I've been dealing with for some time in my own family, the specter and the ominous, the horrific results of heroin and heroin addiction. So it inspired me to offer an amendment to get at that issue, and that is to try to help law enforcement today with getting resources to them. You see, I think that the one critical piece that we're missing is law enforcement needs to have the tools and resources to get that drug off of our street. And so I was able to offer an amendment of $18 million over the biennium to help law enforcement acquire grants all throughout the state to help with their drug task force and other areas within the policing part to go after it. But that's just the beginning. That's the tip of the iceberg. I've also convened a group of stakeholders, and we'll be meeting here this week to start talking about what do we do to get at the issue of heroin and opioids. We've done plenty in this state to help with mental health and addiction recovery services and all those things I support. And I'm glad to see a bipartisan manner, including the governor, who has been very much on board on this, getting at this issue. But the one piece that we have just not really talked about that I want to draw emphasis to is we have to go after the dealers, we have to go after the drugs, and we have to eliminate it off our streets. It's a big task, but I know that we can do it, and I'm up to the task. You know, I just feel that if we don't get at it, we're just going to continue to see the horrific results of heroin on our streets. Families torn apart, people lost, lives lost. and we just can't handle it anymore. And personally, I'm just sick of it. So I came here to Olympia to fight on so many different things, and now I've got another one on top of housing and transportation and everything else. But this is so important. So stay tuned. There'll be more to follow as I develop this plan and implement this plan. So, as I always say, it is an honor and privilege to serve the people of the 2nd Legislative District. If you haven't been down to the Capitol in a while, I suggest you come down over the next week and see these magnificent cherry blossoms and the flowers blooming. It is truly a beautiful, beautiful sight, and it is inspiring to know that spring has once again come back to the state of Washington. It's a rebirth, and it's a time to celebrate that after a long winter. So thanks again for watching another Barkis Breakdown, and I look forward to talking to you again real soon.